It's time for business, and Emmanuel Abajigafe is here. Good evening to you, Emmanuel.
Good evening, Izzy. How are you doing?
I'm well.
Okay.
You take it away.
All right, thanks. Thank you very much for joining me on Business Tonight. And the hassle farmers face with financing is now expected to ease as the Bank of Ghana has finally introduced an initiative to address the challenge. The project, dubbed the Ghana Incentive-Based Risk-Sharing System for Agricultural Lending, GERSAL, was launched today. The Bank of Ghana hinted of this at the maiden edition of the Joy Business Busy Talks on Agribusiness in July. Sheila Tamaklo has the rest of the story.
The Ghana Incentive-Based Risk-Sharing System for Agricultural Lending, GERSAL, is an impact investment fund which seeks to address financial challenges faced by actors in the agricultural chain. The Central Bank, in collaboration with the Agric Ministry and other stakeholders, launched the initiative today. Speaking at the launch, the Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Abdul Nashiru Isahaku, explained how the initiative would be implemented, reiterating the need for agri sector financing in the country's development.
Agriculture sector accounts for about 22% of our GDP. However, the sector receives an average of 4% of bank lending. If we are to succeed in transforming agriculture and promoting agribusiness in Ghana, then we must scale up financing to the sector. Yet, the perception of lending risk is too high to motivate this kind of financing by the private financial sector. This is why the Central Bank wants to facilitate the process of private financial sector financing of the full agricultural value chain. Importantly, this strategy could be seen as a way of diversifying the economy away from over-reliance on oil. Indeed, several prominent Ghanaians, including most of you here, have proposed on different platforms the need to avoid the oil resource curse, the Dutch disease, through a conscious diversification strategy. Expanding agricultural production is one sure way of doing this, but it crucially depends on the availability of more financing. It is in this regard that using the value chain approach to financing agriculture constitutes an important innovation, especially in this modern era. Of course, the Central Bank stands to benefit from anticipated increase in food production. Lower domestic food prices and increased foreign exchange earnings will directly contribute to our price stability function.
Deputy Agric Minister Dr. Ahmed Alhassan Yakubu also said the initiative couldn't have come at a better time.
Rice, oil palm, horticulture, name it, have a lot of separate activities along the chain. These range from primary production, supply of agri-inputs, processing, mechanization services, warehouses, and marketing. These activities are not the same and have different financial and risk profiles, and the need to assess and evaluate them for financing from different prisms is extremely important. That is the reason why the Ministry of Food and Agriculture is very excited about GERSAL and very willing and prepared to support this initiative with our technical expertise and governance based on our understanding of the various commodity value chains in the country.
Ghana Incentive-Based Risk-Sharing System for Agricultural Lending has 6 pillars, including technical assistance, risk-sharing facility, and agribusiness insurance, among others. It is ultimately expected to boost agri productivity for export, reduce the country's import bill, and ensure substantial foreign exchange savings.
The Trade and Industry Minister, Dr. Ekos Piugabra, has dismissed allegations cement importers are engaging in unfair trade practices at the expense of the economy. Local cement manufacturers made delegations at a press conference a couple of days ago where they called for government's immediate intervention. There's more in this report.
The local cement manufacturers, including Gassim and Diamond Cement, have accused Dangote Cement of unfairly competing in the industry with its importation. The Nigerian company has, however, rejected accusations, insisting its imports have rather inured to the benefit of consumers by way of pricing. Dr. Ekospio Gabra also explains to Joy Business the local producers have no case.
Unless they have any evidence to indicate that something wrong has been done, and if the minister has broken any laws, there are numerous channels for redressing them rather than press conferences where they just throw a lot of dust and air and express frustration. We are interested in protecting local industries. We are promoting a Made in Ghana campaign, but the fact that we want Ghanaians to drink beer has not made us ban beer imports. The fact that we want Ghanaians to wear Made in Ghana clothes has not made us ban clothes imports. So I'm not sure why only in the case of cement people should be thinking about that, banning of it or revoking licenses, etc. The tax reliefs are not from Ghana, they are from their own country. They get an export incentive, which Ghana could also put in place.
The local producers also argued the cement import license issued Korean firm Fujian Company violates the recently passed law to regulate the importation of substandard cement and wants it revoked. But Dr. Spio Gabra has ruled this out, describing the position as flawed.
Anybody who has the time should consult the legislative instrument, the LI. You'll find that there's a section that deals with the monitoring committee and there's a section that deals with the licensing process. In the licensing process, there's not a single mention of the role of the monitoring committee to play any role whatsoever. But if they wanted a banning process, they should have argued in Parliament, why should I revoke a license that has already been given out? All these companies were already importing cement before the cement regulation came out. The cement regulation was not intended to ban, B-A-N, the importation of cement. It was supposed to regulate. In other words, to preferably reduce the total quantities of cement imported into the country each year. Until the regulation, according to the cement manufacturers themselves, and also figures from the customs, annual cement imports could be in the region of 1 million to 2 million in a year. So if you give a company only 500,000 bags of cement to import, that's a small fraction of the total amount of cement imported into the country. And the minister under the legislation is the only sole authority required to approve the licenses for imports.
In August, government passed a law to regulate the importation of substandard cement as part of moves to grow the local cement manufacturing industry. The law bans the bagging of cement not produced in the country and makes illegal importation of cement from non-ECOWAS countries without licenses.
Small and medium-scale enterprises and business entrepreneurs have been advised to develop a successful strategic plan that can sustain their businesses for a while without their full participation in the business themselves. This came up during a dialogue session at the 3rd Vodafone African Business SME Summit in Accra under the theme Entrepreneurship Becoming a Ready Business.
Entrepreneurship and SME growth took the center stage at this year's Vodafone African SME Summit. This is because, according to the organizers, the economy of Africa depends on entrepreneurship and small and medium-scale enterprises. At a panel discussion, Executive Director of the China-Europe International Business School, Professor Matthew Chamini, noted that African businesses can be successful through developing strategic plans that can be followed by the next generation.
What we don't want to do is also to end up what we call micromanaging, because you can't do everything. So when you delegate, you have to find a way of actually supervising. But then the question is, how do you do this? So which means that you need to build appropriate structures and processes. And this is usually what we advise. As I said earlier on in my presentation, we have a women entrepreneurship program, which the objective is actually to help these women scale up their businesses. And they are having huge challenges in terms of having the right people, delegating, and having these people deliver. And I don't know whether it's a cultural issue, because I thought it's a Ghanaian problem, but when you go to Nigeria, it's the same thing, that when you delegate and you are not there, okay, very often people don't deliver. And so you realize that even though you delegate in theory, in practice, you have to continuously monitor.
On his part, chairman of the Kitec Group Limited and Tang Palace Hotel, Tang Hong, noted business leaders don't have to participate in every aspect of company's operation. He stressed the need for the youth to take up the challenge of initiating ideas that can help grow businesses.
You know, for instance, my hotel, I have HR, human resource manager, and then my main business at Kitec, I have a lot of managers that they can employ. Okay. They can employ what they want. You know, if we find any problem, we just lay them off. You know, but I stay here 21 years. I have a lot of very important Ghanaians who play various roles in my company. If they bring any idea, do something for the company, I just approve. I don't need to think plenty. You think much, check this, check that, just waste time.
So trust plays a critical role in your operations.
Important. You can't do all the job by yourself. You know, I think as a CEO, you must keep your mind fresh every day. You have to think something for the future. You have a 5-year plan, 10-year plan, so you keep on growing.
This year's summit ends on 15th October.
And those were the business news updates for tonight. Many thanks for watching. For more business news stories or business stories, log on to myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Emmanuel Abuaji Riafi. There's more ahead in the news.